Welcome back to DAGryffyn Hobby. My name's Dave. I got a new engine and we need to take a look at it. Before we get into what's in this box, behind me on the inner loop I have my postwar 681 and 671 turbines. It's always been a special engine for me. That 681 that's sitting there is the one that belonged to my uncle, and in the early 80s I would just hang out in his basement and stare at that engine, watch it go around the layout when I was lucky enough to see it operating. But even when it wasn't operating, I would just stand there and look at that engine and look at the layout and wish I had something like that at my house. So if there's one engine, one post-war engine, that really means something to me, more than the others, it's that 681 right there. I've had a number of them over the years. I think I had one more 681 and two 671s at one point. Those three models I had purchased, fixed up, serviced, run them for a while, and then sold them. The 671 there is one I picked up not too long ago because I wanted one that didn't have the E-unit lever sticking out of the top. So now I've got the 681 and the 671. Both fantastic engines. That leads into another engine that I really would love to have, and that would be a scale turbine. But to my knowledge, any of the scale turbines aren't going to run on my track because I don't have wide enough turns. Also, if I consider the budget, it's a little outside of what I would want to spend. So this engine here relates to that, but also to the recent Penske MTH LocoSound Decapod that I picked up. So I'm pretty excited to have this. I'm hoping it turns out okay. I mean, it is a 20-something-year-old engine, so you never know. The only thing to do is to open it up, check it out, get it on the track, and hope it works. Now, this does not have the original box, but it is pretty well packed, so that makes me happy. So first, we've got the Penske tender. That's gorgeous. A little dusty, pretty clean otherwise. I don't really see any scratches on it. A little disappointing there are no lights in the back of the tender. That looks really nice. A little dirty, a little dusty. Not a whole lot of wear on those center rollers. Could probably be cleaned up a little bit. Maybe it was sitting for a while. Oh, a little bit of crud on the bottom of this one wheel. But check this out. It's not scale, but it's an MTH RailKing LocoSound turbine. And that's bigger than the post-war ones, and that makes me happy. Not necessarily scale, but again, scale wouldn't fit on my layout. So this is pretty cool looking. A little bit of a detailed interior on the cab. Good old 6200. 6200 on the front. One of the things that makes it look a little more scale is this space here in between the front and rear drivers. More prototypical, even though this is still quite compressed. It's got the 4 smokestacks. Of course, it's just one, but at least it looks like it. Molded in scale coupler on the front. I like it. I like it. I got to get it set up, see if it works. I'll have to look at this right next to the post-war ones in a minute, but the tender on this RailKing engine is about the same size as the post-war engine. So it's kind of neat. It's definitely a bigger scale, whether it's scale or not. Okay, I think it's pretty cool. I honestly don't know that much about LocoSound other than the two engines that I have, the Decapod and the Aerotrain. Both of those have speed control. I do not know if this one does. Don't have a box to check it out. But I realized I didn't look at the bottom of the engine to see anything, so let's take a look. There should at least be a switch for smoke. Something is off. Is that smoke? There's one switch, it says on and off, but it doesn't tell you what it's for. So let's put it on, see what happens. Bottom of the tender, there's an on-off switch, I guess for the sounds. The bell didn't seem to work. And the whistle is not the best. But then I didn't buy it for the sounds. I bought it as a budget option as far as something to run that's between the postwar and the scale. So I'm going to have to go pick up some cars and see what it looks like. Smoke unit's making a bit of noise. We'll put a little bit of a JT Mega Steam cinders in there. I like it. I think it's a really neat engine, and I think the scale one would probably look ridiculous on this layout. The next layout, I'll get a scale one because I'll do much larger turns, but I'm pretty happy about this. I think it looks fantastic. Great colors on it. I kind of forgot that I have another turbine, and that would be the MPC era 6200 from the famous American Railroad set. I really like that one too. It runs fantastically. But this one being, you know, again, not scale, but closer, or at least larger than traditional, is pretty exciting. I really think it looks great. And it should look pretty good with that decapod running around as well. Well, you'll have to pardon some of the mess on my workbench here. I did try to clean it up yesterday, but I didn't get too far. Now look at the size difference of these two. The postwar 681 and this RailKing 6200. It's not like there's a whole lot more detail on the RailKing one. Almost everything is molded in, just like the postwar. On the postwar one, you can see how all the wheels are close together. The RailKing's got that space in between the second and third axle. It definitely makes it look bigger, having that space in there. I mean, it is bigger, but you know, makes it look bigger. The two of these together makes this look like maybe an S-scale engine. And this one's not even scale, but man, it is gorgeous. All right, as much as I love the 681, I'm gonna have to put it to the side for now. I think we should get a look at the tender, see if there's anything in there worth noting. And only one switch for the sounds, on and off. It doesn't seem to make any sound other than the whistle. I don't know if it's supposed to make a turbine sound or something like that. If it doesn't, that's fine. The MPC era one has a sound of steam and it makes a chuffing noise, and it makes no sense for that engine. But most of those I run without the sound anyway. When I was looking for this engine, I saw a number of PS1 or PS2. You know what? I can't remember at the moment. Probably PS1 engines. Not a lot of the LocoSound engines. That's the reverse board and maybe the soundboard. Little speaker. I wonder if upgrading that speaker would do any good for that whistle sound. Okay, nothing really to concern ourselves with here. I'll put this back together. I'm a little disappointed by the lack of a bell. I wonder if it's supposed to have one and it just doesn't work. I haven't really found a lot of good information on these LocoSound engines. Then again, I really haven't looked too much. I've just looked for a few engines to buy. All right, let's flip the engine over and get a look. See, just one switch. I don't know what I really need to take apart. Probably just a few screws and the whole thing comes apart, but maybe I can get some of the trucks out of the way. No, that's fed through the bottom, so I might as well screw that back in. Screw there and there. There are two screws under this, but that might not hold it together. We have a screw there and a screw there. Again, screws under the truck. I'm going to say maybe those 4 screws and it comes apart. Yep. I love that. 4 screws and the thing comes apart. Got some smoke fluid moisture. Where are my paper towels? Maybe I overfilled that smoke unit or missed it. Okay, so there's nothing really on the inside here. This is just a contact connector for the front headlight. Instead of a plug or something like that, it's just when you put this together, this makes contact with the contacts on the frame and you've got light. So here we go. That's it. That's inside the engine. There's no speed control. There's no sensor. There's no tack strip. Mildly disappointing, but quite all right. The fact that it's pure conventional is just fine with me. I didn't notice it when it was running, but I guess this little light bulb here is for marker lights on either side. It all looks pretty clean and not much to look at. I don't know if that fan will quiet down. I mean, it's a maintenance-free motor, so there's really nothing I can do. I don't know if you're supposed to lube the drive shaft here, but why not? See if there are any grease points on the bottom. No. I should be able to get some oil down on the axles. Traction tires might be a little dry, but I'll wait until they come off to do anything about it. I mean, the only thing that looks like I can even get to is here, so I might as well remove the plate. I always have a fear that when you take something like this apart that parts are going to inexplicably just fly all over the place. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm assuming it's just a gear and some grease. Plate and a spacer of sorts. I mean, I guess this could be taken apart and cleaned and lubricated, but it really seems quite all right at the moment. Maybe at a later date I'll remove this, clean up the gear, and re-lubricate it, but it looks decently lubricated right now, and it's not dry. Some of it might be a little dirty. But it's a brand new engine to me, and I want to run it. So I'm going to put this back together, and maybe I'll clean that up another day. I guess there's really nothing else to do other than put it back together and run it. It's a really easy engine to take apart. Not that there's really much of a reason to take it apart, but there we are. Brush off some of this dust. Okay, so this might be a more modern engine, but really there's nothing to it. It's really no different than something like a Williams engine. It's got the same reversing unit, I believe, with QSI. So if you want something like this and you're not really into the electronics and the more modern stuff, I think you'd be okay with this. There's really, I mean, there's not even a motor to service. I think it's pretty foolproof. Of course, if the reversing unit goes, you'd need to replace that with another one, but I don't see that as being a big deal. There's plenty of room in that tender to work. Plenty of room in the engine if you needed to get back in there. I don't think there's anything to be afraid of with this. Oh man, I dumped it on its side. What a dingus. All right, before I do any damage, I'm putting it back on the track. So since this doesn't have speed control and it's purely conventional with an electronic QSI reversing unit, this might be a fantastic candidate for something like Blue Nami. I've been wanting to try Blue Nami. Will I try it in this? Who knows? I'm going to run it for a while as is, see how it does without any sort of speed control. Going slow was definitely an issue, but I might be inclined to run this engine at a faster speed anyway. Not everything needs to crawl. If it's running on the outer loop, there's no incline, so it should be fine. There is a turn that things tend to slow down on, and I don't know if that's a power issue or just the way I laid the track. But with a decent speed, I think it'll be fine. So this cost me $230 something, of course, plus tax and plus shipping, which brought it to about $267. And that's really not bad. I just looked up a couple different versions of the Turbine to see what they might go for. Of course, this is a quick search, not an exhaustive investigation. I looked up a Lionel postwar 682. That was available at Trains for $270. I looked up a Lionel scale turbine. That's older. Honestly, at the moment, I don't remember what its features were. But not only did it require 072 turns, but it also cost $500. Of course, then there's the new one that's out or coming out that is closer to 2,000. I think this is a fantastic deal. I mean, sure, you could probably find a 671, 681, 2020 for 100 at a train show, 120, 150, depending the quality. But to get a really nice one, you'd probably spend 200. And if I bought that online, I'd need to pay for shipping and tax anyway, so it would be close to this. So overall, I am thrilled with the value, the quality, the look, the way it runs, and the fact that it's a little more scale than the postwar one. It's something I can run with scale cars and feel like it's not way too small. This is 24 inches long. Scale one said it was 30 inches long, which is significant for it being the same engine. I don't know how much of that length difference is made up in the tender and how much is the engine, but the scale engine is definitely bigger than this one. But again, for the price, I'm thrilled. And I'm gonna run it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on DAGryffyn Hobby.